is a good go. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get ready to get started. We have with us tonight Alaric Overbey, Alaric, let me get it right, not Alec, but Alaric Overbey. So Alaric is his brother that I just got acquainted with last night. I wanted to have him come on and share with what he's doing. He's doing stuff that is very similar to what we're doing. So I'm gonna go through Alaric, and what I'm gonna do is have you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you. Also, we got pbrown on here also, so that's what we've been looking for also. Well, Alaric, go ahead and tell us where you're from and what you're doing, and introduce yourself to the group.
Hello, everybody. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. No, everybody got themselves on mute so that they won't override anything that you're saying, anything that's in their background.
My name is Alaric Overbey. I'm originally from San Jose, California, so the Bay Area. My background is primarily in IT, big data, data center optimization. In 2015, I moved to Dallas for a job, and I was actually introduced to food deserts at that time. That had been my first experience, with a food desert, and seeing the difference between, a regular community and making a trip to South Dallas and actually crossing a bridge and actually seeing the difference in the urban makeup there was drastically different from what was across the freeway. That was new for me. In the Bay Area, California, you don't know, food deserts aren't as big as an issue. West Coast is a little bit different. They've always been about agriculture and growing. So for me, growing up with walking down the street with pomegranates and kumquats and watermelons and peach trees, that was all normal. So getting to Dallas was kind of like a culture shock. And I immediately started investigating, what's up with these, what's up with this area. And I found out about food deserts and food insecurity. And so for me, it was looking at how do you create a solution for that. At this time, and this is when Dallas had just introduced what a lot of states are now starting to come around to, is the fact that they had ordinance in place where individuals weren't allowed, and it was actually illegal to actually grow produce in your front yard or backyard and then resell it for retail. They actually just lifted an ordinance that's been going in Florida earlier this year. They just lifted one of those same ordinances out there in Florida, allowing people to actually do urban farming. So for me, at the same time, I was introduced by a coworker to Tower Gardens. And once I started to kind of like do some research and started to learn from them about how the systems work, what the overall goal with the systems was to be able to maximize the amount of space that you're using and be as efficient and sustainable as possible. Come to find out these systems that are also being used and were designed, partly designed by NASA. And the reason that they were designed by NASA and why NASA played such a big part in that was because you look at how to basically be able to produce food on a space station or in space or on a different planet or anything like that, and how to create a system that's basically that you can optimize for any environment. And so that's what they did with these towers. They basically took all of those different, all the best from both hydroponic, aquaponics, aeroponics, and removed all of the deficiencies in those systems and basically created one system that basically had all the best parts of all of those systems. So for aquaponics, the main reason for people using aquaponics is because of access to those nutrients. Hydroponics, the main reason for that is having access to those nutrients in the root system and be able to use less space. Same thing with aeroponics. Traditional aeroponics is about misting or spraying of the roots. But that requires extra energy. So what they did is they created a system that basically eliminated all of those parts in a growing system that were considered to be negative. So I started using these systems in 2015. Started putting them into schools. Our first school was the Sarah Zumwalt Middle School in Oak Cliff. My kids here had never had access or been to a Whole Foods or a Sprouts, so they didn't even know what that was. So there was a lot of produce that they had no idea of what it was. So when we started teaching them about growing using these systems, we was able to move the farm and the community garden concept from outdoors directly into the classroom, giving the kids an opportunity to interact directly with urban agriculture and new types of technology when it came to growing. Kind of fast forward a little bit, I started to scale these projects, looking at rooftops and unused real estate. During this time period between 2015 and now, there's a lot of new projects that's come out with different states and different cities for green roofs, utilizing unused real estate, utilizing urban lots, and repurposing different types of buildings in order to do agriculture. Currently, what I'm doing is I'm out in Las Vegas right now, and I'm working with several schools, and we're putting in 10 towers in about 20 schools out here. And so the goal is to usher in and start to develop and bring in the next generation of farmers. Currently, and back in July, I actually spoke at the Indoor Ag Conference out here in Las Vegas, which is one of the biggest indoor ag conferences in the world. And one of the topics at this conference was the lack of diversity in indoor agriculture, which is a $28 billion industry right now, where you have companies like Steve Bezos and with Amazon and Zappos and Google, who all invested over $1 billion in vertical farming and urban agriculture. The same thing that's going on out here in Las Vegas. So what we're doing now is basically looking at contracting with a lot of stores and basically trying to get these systems directly in the community, creating a new industry of farmers. One of those conversations there was that there's a lack of Blacks, African Americans, Asians, women, all in the indoor agriculture span. One of the main ladies there, she worked for Arrow Farms, which was one of the largest vertical farms in the country. Asian lady does engineering, and one of the things she was speaking on was that, again, that lack of diversity when it comes to utilizing these systems. How that affects us is that these systems are designed to be solutions. But if you have these systems being used by individuals who don't necessarily need the solutions, they're just used for profit. In Las Vegas, they have one of the largest vertical farms in the country, $38 million facility, and they only grow produce for the hotels on the strip. But they kick out about anywhere from 150 to 500 pounds per day if they want to. So looking at you spending $38 million, one of the conversations we had, you take $38 million when you could have created 38 $1 million vertical farms and place those in food deserts, and you eliminate those food deserts. What these vertical farming system does, what they allow you to do is recycle 98% of your water, harvesting a third of the time of traditional farming, and allows you to grow produce that is considered to be either beyond organic, vine ripened. You use no chemicals, no herbicides, no pesticides. Only thing they use is nutrient content that was developed by both plant nutritionists and human nutritionists down at NASA for optimal growth. I'm currently working on a project also in Oklahoma where they have we're number 10 on the list of food deserts in the country. This company just shut down one of the last grocery stores in this community in Northeast Oklahoma, and they're getting ready to open up another grocery store in that same location. In looking at how I'm working with them in basically trying to eliminate the food deserts is to basically create an economy using vertical farming within these communities. So if you have a store that's coming in there, the main thing these stores want is local produce, fresh produce, as close to organic as they can possibly get.
Taxi to go to the dentist.
Excuse me?
Go ahead.
And so basically contracting with the store purchases all the produce directly from that community. What that does is start to generate more tax dollars directly in that community. It also changes this model of us those communities creating businesses that don't generate tax dollars. Creating businesses that when another company comes in, those communities aren't creating a business that can basically feed off of and take advantage of the revenue that that company is actually coming in there and taking from that community, which is why a lot of those dollars don't stay in that community. So it's also an economic model for looking at how do you go into a community and start to generate an economy. And I think through vertical farming and even by using vertical farming simply as a means of leveling the playing ground when it comes to access and when it comes to distribution of fresh produce at a cost. So what it is, if you're able to basically take up 600 square feet and you're able to grow the equivalent of a quarter acre in that same space all year round, recycling all your water and all your nutrients, that company that you're contracting with now has an opportunity of eliminating a lot of their excess costs when it comes to logistics and ordering produce and getting produce there, which is one of the biggest problems when it comes to a grocery store, and that takes up about 11% of their overall budget. When it takes about 11% of their overall budget. So what this does allows you to kind of come in and give them what they need while cutting costs in other areas and being able to be, again, it gives us an opportunity to basically contract directly with suppliers or not necessarily suppliers with the end user. And that's typically what you're looking at with a grocery store. And that's pretty much it. My end goal is to basically set up a vocational school for vertical farming, and to set up one of the largest vertical farms out here in the country where we're able to grow the most food and able to duplicate that process and put that in all of the different areas and communities that need it by creating these hubs, as opposed to, which allows us to kind of decentralize where the actual food market is.
Okay, so some of the questions that we had spoke about a little earlier. So how much space does one of these vertical grow structures, how much space does that take up?
Each tower takes up about 3.5 square foot of space. In that space, starting off on a small level, you're able to do 20 plants in that space. And when you're talking about scaling or moving up, what you do is you simply stack the towers on top of each other. There's two different types of systems. There's a traditional system that allows you to grow full-grown plants, and then there's another system that allows you to grow leafy green microgreens. So one system that allows you to grow food within 21 days, leafy greens within 21 days. The other system allows you to grow microgreens within 8 to 14 days. You also can do any type of vine vegetables, from about 31 days to 45 days, which includes your beans, which includes your tomatoes, which includes your watermelon, squash, strawberries. There's probably about 200 different, fruits and vegetables and herbs that you can actually grow in the systems.
Okay. That sounds good. Let's try and think of what other questions that I have. So for per tower, so say that we do tomatoes on one tower. How many pounds of tomatoes will we be able to get per plant?
It's typically about 1 to 3 pounds per plant. I take that back. It's 3 to 5 pounds per plant. And you look at the smallest tower being able to hold 20 plants.
Okay.
Some of the largest towers that I've worked with held up to 52 plants. And those were regular towers, and then micro towers hold up to 120 plants on the small scale. So you're looking at 120 plants per tower for like your leafy greens, and then up to 44 to 52 plants when you're talking about vine vegetables.
Okay. So how tall is the one that holds 150 something plants?
Oh, that's the 120 plant for the microgreens. It's 7 pods tall, 3.5 feet. Comes out to about 5.5 feet. 5.5 feet tall.
5.5 feet tall, 3.5 square feet in some circumference. So what I'm gonna do, I'm allowing everybody else to ask, and we'll go in and allow everybody to do. We do a round robin type thing and allow everybody to have an opportunity to introduce themselves, and then ask you any questions that they have. So I'm gonna start up here with Jetty. Jetty, go ahead and unmute yourself and do a brief intro and ask away.
Thank you for that presentation, brother. I can corroborate your facts there because I've been studying this myself for about a year now, and we're going to be implementing that into our program as well. I'm out here in like California, on the California-Arizona border.
Okay.
And we're got about 3 acres, including a church, over on the other side of town, and it's what we're going to be doing with our grant and stuff. We're working with our aquaponics and hydroponics, and I do aeroponics, hydroponics, and I'm working on. I've been studying aquaponics for a year now, but we're still working on that. So that's it for me. I want to hear everybody else. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's it.
All right, Deb.
Hello, my name is Deb Gutierrez, and I have a law degree, and I have about 40 years of completing tax returns, and I'm really good at filling out paperwork.
Oh.
I'm also the website person, and basically I'm a backstop for all of the admin sort of things. I'm in Oakland.
Oh, Oakland?
Yeah. So you got any questions, Deb?
That growth time for tomatoes is awfully short. Is that because it's aquaponic?
Well, it's aeroponic, and so I guess the chief difference is the feeding of the roots for these systems. So the roots actually sit in an oxygenated chamber. The water is always recycling directly over the roots in a drip system, which is very different from hydroponic, where your roots simply sit in the system, aquaponics, where your roots are misted by the system, and then aquaponics with basically using fish. So because it's oxygenated, because they sit in an oxygenated chamber, it allows the plant to basically take in its nutrients as it wills, as opposed to how we dose it. So it allows it to grow a lot faster, a lot healthier, and a lot quicker.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. My man Quinn.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for the presentation as well. My name is Quinn. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I grow cannabis in soil, and I'm pretty good at it. I do have a question. This process, aeroponics, your system, is it indoor or is this outdoor? I heard you mention about the school.
You can do both.
Outdoor.
Either or.
Either or.
Yeah, you can do either or. Even for cannabis and even for hemp. If you look at how much square feet it's taking you to grow one plant, for example, I've been growing marijuana in California since the early mid '90s in the soil. Before the laws came out.
Was that legal or illegal?
Oh yeah, it's very legal in California.
in the '90s.
Yeah, in the '90s, it wasn't legal then.
And okay, another question. I heard you mention that you compared it to aquaponics and hydroponics, saying that it takes your system takes away. This is the first time you're hearing about this form of growing, but you say that it takes those disadvantages away, and from you don't have those disadvantages from hydroponics or aquaponics in yours.
Right.
Question. Now, like I grow indoors. I grow indoor and outdoor. However, I know that growing indoors with like the artificial lights, I experience pests, bugs.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a problem? Is that a problem with you from growing indoors? Your system?
The reason why is that most pests that are attracted to plants are attracted to the minerals that are basically being put out by the soil. So they're more so attracted by what's coming through the soil. So when you look at, spider mites, when you look at different types of worms and aphids and things like that, they're attracted to certain things that are coming into that plant through the minerals in that soil. So they're looking, to eat and repopulate. By eliminating some of those things, because the whole thing, when you plant a seed, the first thing that seed does, it grows backwards. It has to develop a root system inside that soil. The soil is simply a medium to grow. What that plant is trying to do is simply extract the nutrients from the soil. So if you eliminate the soil and give that plant just the nutrients that it's trying to get, it eliminates some of the struggle that that plant has to go through in order to get those nutrients. And now that energy is now basically put into the development of that plant or in that bud. That's kind of the difference. So it's making the life cycle of that plant a lot easier. When you start to think about even farming, for example, farming is man-made. That's not something that happens naturally. When you look at a rainforest, the reason that a rainforest always grows is because it keeps a certain type of environment, and the root systems are the main things getting the nutrients. The roots in the rainforest aren't the things that necessarily has to struggle. It's the plants at the top. So it's the canopy. This is taking all of those different, like I said, all those deficiencies from different types of systems, different types of growing, and gives you one simple optimal system that's designed to be efficient. That's the main thing it is designed for. It's almost like having a baby that's still attached to the umbilical cord, where you feed it those nutrients directly. And so the sooner you're able to eat it or to use it, that's when it's at its peak of ripeness. The longer a plant is disconnected from its umbilical cord, its food system, its nutrient system, it immediately starts to die, which is the same thing with humans. Soon as we get disconnected from our umbilical cord, we age. Plants kind of live on that same cycle.
Okay, thank you. One more question. I have one more question.
Yes, sir.
How durable is it? And as far as like controlling it, does it take a period? I know it. I learned from us that with the aquaponics, it's like it takes it's a startup time. Is it durable, or how does that durability work?
No startup time like it is with aquaponics, where you got to get the system, you got to get the nutrients right. You got to let the nutrients run through the system a few times in order to be able to flood the system out. Imagine your systems imagine each one of your aquaponic systems in a self-contained system, and then all individually dosed through a sub-tank. And so using an auto dosing system. So that means that the plants that you have on this tower aren't affected by what's going on the next tower. So you might have a particular breed on this tower. Each tower has their own 20-gallon nutrient basin. So they're all individually dosed and controlled. So if you're growing a particular type of plant in this tower, and this plant requires a certain types of nutrients, you can separate how you're dosing each tower based on the type of plant that you're growing, which gives you a lot more optimal control. So if you say, hey, this plant over here needs more nitrogen, traditionally, if you're growing marijuana, you want to add, no bat guano or something like that in there to raise the amount of nitrogen. Here, what we do is we all those 16 essential earth elements and use actual mineral base. So when you say nitrogen, you're using the actual chemical nitrogen and diluting that solution into the water. So if this plant needs more potassium, then you give that plant just the more potassium, as opposed to have to redose that whole system.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Ramona.
Hi, my name is Ramona Ross. I'm a MD. I'm practicing right now in the border with Mexico, and I have my practice here in Mexico, and I I mean, the process. I'm working on getting patients across the border, the people that want therapies here in Mexico, since we have more options here, as lots of alternative along with the conventional therapies for different conditions, especially intravenous vitamin C, detox uh, treatments with EDTA and other substances that are all natural, along with with regular therapies for losing weight and any medical condition. And I'm also working on my online store where I can sell my items from Mexico, and I can consult online. If I build my website with a Mexican address, I hopefully I will be able to consult people over the internet. So
Very nice.
that is what I'm working on.
All right.
Very nice. Very nice to meet you.
Thank you. Very nice meeting you as well.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go to Peter Brown. Mr. Brown, I've been watching you for a while. I'm gonna ask that you save your introduction to later because I want you to do your own private thing and allow everybody to be able to hear your story and what you have to offer, and then be able to ask you questions. But I didn't know if you had any questions that you might want to ask Alaric at this time.
No, not at all. These are areas that we are moving to in many of the projects that I'm working on. The earth has to rest at this point, and that's true pretty much all over the world. And so we have to find creative ways and the best technologies in order to allow the earth to rest. Just like the man said, farming is not a natural thing.
Right.
And while you can go out and plow up, all the acreage in the world, it makes more sense to use less space and intelligence and produce a better quality crop in a more controlled environment. So this is where the entire planet must go at this point. So
Absolutely.
no questions. It's straight.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. We got Gabriel from the ATL.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Alaric, welcome aboard.
Thank you, sir.
I enjoyed everything that you talked about. I do have a little bone to pick with you, only because I come from the aquaponic side. Nothing vicious or anything like that. But let me just introduce myself first. I am from the Bay Area myself. I come from Palo Alto, the Santa Clara Valley area.
Oh, I'm from San Jose, so yeah.
Yeah, so I'm very familiar with that area. I think if you had instead of going to Texas, if you had just gone to East Palo Alto when I grew up there, just across the train tracks, that's pretty much the difference between Palo Alto and EPA is very, very distinct. There's a huge amount. Well, it's not now, but because EPA has changed quite a bit. But back in the day, there were no grocery stores back in East Palo Alto, and that was the black area of Palo Alto. Anyways, I wanted to ask a couple questions about your systems. Each one of these systems, these towers, they have their own individual pump system, right? That pumps the water.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you able to grow any root crops? It sounds like from what I was seeing with these towers that there's a lot of confined space with regards to just the plant area. Oh, did we lose him? I think we lost him.
Yeah, it just dropped.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
You'll have to get back to me, John, when he comes back on.
We'll give him a chance.
Probably have to give him, probably give him a minute.
Yeah, we'll give him a minute to jump back in. And if not, we do have a highly esteemed guest, Mr. Peter Brown, that we will have come up next. And so I don't know what happened, if he hit a bad spot or what the situation was. But it is what it is. So we will give him a couple more minutes. Everybody, feel free to keep your thoughts and questions and stuff. Like I said, we'll give it a couple more minutes, and if he doesn't pop back in, we'll jump to Peter Brown, and then we'll give him an opportunity, if he does come back on after Peter, for you guys to be able to ask him a question and go from there. Yes, sir.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Is there a conference coming up again where we will be, your group specifically would be presenting?
That is part of what we're doing with our grant. So we haven't really set anything up as of right now. We're trying to see where we'll have to the end of this month to know what we have to work with and to be able to set up. As of right now, we don't have a conference that we have set in stone, but that is the thing that we're looking at doing is to set up conferences and to set up workshops. So that's part of what our grant is for. Regardless if we get the grant or not, we're going to move forward with it. And with that grant, basically what we do is we have the USDA come, and we'll set up a workshop where they come in, and we have the different branches of the USDA to come in, and they are there to answer our questions and to help our people to be able to get introduced to some of the programs and stuff that they have, as well as assist us in the participation. As we all know, those who've ever tried, you go in and say, hey, I've heard about the new high tunnel project that you guys got. And you'll hear, well, that's not my department. Where do I need to go? I'm not really sure, but if you go to usda.com or .gov, whatever it is, you'll be able to find it. And then they leave you high and dry. This way, whoever department that is, we'll have about, I think 4 different departments that come in that will cover all of them. And they'll be able to say, this is who this is, this is who you need to go to, this is who you need to talk with, and everything on that nature. So our thing is to make sure that our people get things addressed in a timely manner, and that they also get the assistance that they need. I've been dealing with things myself on this nature. Others who have been a part of it that I've talked to have gone through the same thing. Our thing is as I put it, we're not basing our businesses on the grants, but as I said earlier, I pay my taxes like everybody else, and if I got benefits out there, I want my benefits.
Go after them. That's right.
So
I think the brother's back though.
Yeah, I seen back. So who was that? That was Gabriel. So I see Alaric is back.
Yeah. All right. So I was just trying to figure out if there was a pump into each one of those systems, which there is. Basically, are you misting the roots with some kind of like like multiple misters or something inside the tower?
No. So this system works. It's a drip system. Okay. So each section of the pod holds on the regular towers holds 4 plants, and then from the top and inside there's a grade in each one of those that's different. So the water shoots up to the top and then trickles down directly over the roots and then just continues to recycle. So it's simply using the gravity as opposed to using a mist system, which is more energy that's pushing out something. By using the gravity system, it just allows the water to naturally drip directly over the roots.
Lay on that grate system?
No, they hang suspended in the chamber.
Okay, gotcha. All right. And as far as the solution that you guys use, it sounds like it's way more closely related to hydroponics type solutions. Is it synthetic or is there an organic aspect of this?
Well, they're minerals, and they don't necessarily classify minerals as organic or non-organic. Which is why we don't necessarily get, the produce doesn't necessarily get categorized as organic, because we're not necessarily using quote unquote organic material. Right. The only thing that's being used is 16 essential earth minerals. So in the larger system, commercial system, you look at when you're using lead, we actually use actual lead. We get a pound of lead that's actually melted, is basically and put that in sulfuric acid and mix that in with the solution. So the solution itself is a solution tank, a sump tank, and then that sump tank is connected to each individual tower on the larger system.
Okay, so they're all sharing the same nutrients then.
Yeah, and when you connect them like that, or the other option is just simply if you're doing individual different types of plants, is that you basically individually dose each one of those towers. But the nutrient solution that's in there is basically designed for human and plant nutrition.
Right, and you're not supplementing any O2, right? Because you said an oxygen chamber, so I automatically thought, are you supplementing oxygen in there, or is it just,
no?
Okay, all right.
The running, because the chamber's enclosed, and then when you add the root system, you add the nutrients and you add the running water, it creates it allows that chamber to basically hold more oxygen.
Gotcha. And are you expecting like a sterile environment? Do you have like some kind of like what's that light called that you kill all your bacteria? I mean, are you promoting bacteria growth, or do you not want bacteria growth in the tower?
Well, you don't really get a lot of the bacteria growth in the towers because you don't have a lot of the additives. So the only thing you run into a lot of times is calcium. Is a lot of calcium buildup, which is basically that's based on the type of water that you're actually using. But the option, there are other systems that I work with that actually use soil and promote, a lot of the biodiversity and development of cultures.
Right. And I think it's important to understand the context of where that type of system was derived from, because we're thinking NASA, we're thinking space. You don't want to bring, a lot of materials into space. You're not going to bring fish into space,
right,
into the aquaponics system. So, I mean, when we talk about inefficiencies, yeah, aquaponics has inefficiencies, but I mean, I think every system does. So I think it comes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think it comes down
absolutely.
So it comes down to now just how do we, add variety and what works best for you in that particular area, or your particular environment. Are these towers modular? Like, can you stack on top an extra module if you need to?
Yes.
Okay.
So each individual, you could actually, I've moved, 20 and 30 tower farms, from my location, put them in a U-Haul and took them down to the farmer's market and hooked them back up.
Gotcha. Okay. And I think the question I was asking you right when you dropped was, are you able to grow any root crops in that system?
No.
Okay.
The answer is not no. It's just not as efficient.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Okay. So let us progress on, because I want to be able to get our other guest in and be respectful of his time also. So I'm gonna ask everybody that's left to try to limit their questions to 1 or 2 questions. And then we'll get Peter Brown on, and then after we get a chance to hear what he has to say and ask him questions, then we can be able to open up to either one and go from there. Alaric, while you're on there, if you would share your contact information, so if anybody wanted to catch up with you, email, however you would want them to contact you. Peter Brown, if you would do the same also. And then we'll go ahead and go from there. So we're going to ask Jerry. Jerry, you got any questions for Alaric?
Yeah, this the same brother that was in Dallas?
Yes, I know you.
The Vertical Life, you had the Vertical Life farm.
Vertical Life. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, I remember. I just wanted to know what happened with the Vertical Life farms and everything surrounding that situation.
I had a building down there, and I got in bed with the wrong type of investor.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a venture capital. The first company we did was Dallas Urban Farms, and I think that's when we met with Jody and Max. I don't know if you remember. And so they were on the same.
I remember Players, but that's.
Oh yeah. Players Montgomery. Yeah. And so a Crystal Slack. I remember them. Okay. Yeah, from that time period, when I first started, we had the original spot right there on Deep Ellum. Then I set up the Vertical Life Farms right down the street from them. Ran into a problem with as far as with my investor, as far as the rent on the building and things like that. So I just simply shut that down and relocated out here to Las Vegas, between Las Vegas and Oklahoma.
How much are one of those individual systems? And that's my last question, John.
That's good.
The regular systems run about 550. The microgreen system run about 650.
So that's 550 or 650.
Yeah, between the two.
Okay.
And that's dealing with the regular size towers. When you're looking at doing commercial towers, it's just about how high you want to stack them. So you just add about $40 per tower cost. Anytime you want to basically add up to 10 plants per tower.
Okay. All right. Sabrina.
Yes, I'm coming. You know I'm slow.
All right.
I'll have to be honest with you. You guys know I am a newbie. I'm like a babe in all of this. And but everything everybody have asked, those were my questions.
Okay.
I'd like to let you know too. I just left Dallas. I've been in Dallas for 18 years, and I'm out here in St. Louis with my daughter. And I know someone who has some land, and I just found out she didn't have the land anymore. So I was like, no. So with all of this he's been saying, now I have a lot of hope, because now I'm like, okay, maybe I can do indoors, you know. Yeah. And it's funny, the last time we had the meeting, you guys talking about aquaponics, hydroponics, airpod. I'm like, what in the world are they talking about? Oh my God.
Now you're starting to understand.
Yeah. Yes. So I'll be honest with all you guys. I have hope today. Like I said, I am a baby in this, and I'm gonna go, I guess, to your website, Alaric, and
yes,
I guess see what all that is that you do. Maybe I can learn from you. I'm sorry that you're not in Dallas anymore, but I'm thinking about staying out here in the St. Louis, Illinois area. They said the food is expensive in Illinois. I think there's maybe a lot of opportunity out there. There's so much land out there, so you just never know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A lot of empty houses. A lot of empty houses. It's like on every corner.
Yeah, there's a lot of. Yeah, plenty of opportunity out there. They actually passed the ordinance in regards to green roofs. So out there, they promote using rooftops for agriculture out there.
Okay.
In Illinois.
Okay.
Well, that's a good thing. All right.
Yeah.
Even better.
Chef Joseph, aka Darrell.
Yep, I'm here.
All right.
Yes, sir. So I'm Darrell, Chef Joseph, and we manufacture hot sauces and ginger drinks. And getting into land. Well, we're already into land. Excuse me. Already into land and looking at and growing the different products on the land, hemp, CBD. So that's it. Here with my partner Michelle.
You tell me where you at?
Oh, Virginia Beach, right here at the water. Yeah, take a look.
Oh, no wonder they sitting out there grinning, smiling, looking at the
Kind of scared of y'all, man. Y'all be having
right on.
That's where the hurricanes like to go.
Yeah. So, all right. You got any questions for him, Darrell?
Yep.
I do, actually. Alaric, how are you? Thank you for your information. I have a question. Are you familiar with Moringa oleifera? Are you familiar with Moringa oleifera? And how would that tie into any of your planting with essential ingredients?
I am not.
Okay. All right.
Something I do need to know. What was it called?
Moringa oleifera.
Are you talking about the tree of life?
Yeah.
I am talking about the tree of life, the plant, Moringa oleifera,
yes.
and using that
as
yes.
Okay.
Very good plant. Very good.
It can
Somebody else told me about that.
It can single-handedly solve hunger across the planet Earth. Single
Yes, sir. Thank you,
It
sir.
has 300% of your daily vitamin C requirements. It has more potassium than banana. It is a complex protein. Absolutely everything that the human needs in order to sustain themselves. The moringa
And it also, moringa.
Yeah.
Yes. And it also cleanses water. So I was just wondering if you had any information on it.
Okay.
It cleanses the water, water filtration.
We'll have to pass that on to Peter Brown. We got a couple more that as I'm allowed to have a question, and then we'll go ahead and introduce Peter. So we have Crystal Mendoza. Hey, Crystal, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm driving at the moment. It was an excellent briefing. I am familiar with Alaric Overbey. I am first seeded investors in the farm, and I defer saying anything further at this particular time.
All right. Well, it looks like Alaric got a couple of folk in here that he know. And we got somebody from the 718 area code. Didn't get a chance to see who that is and get introduced. Who's this?
Hello, Mr. Jamerson. This is Samantha. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm out of Brooklyn, New York. Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Like my friend Sabrina Frenchie, we're both very in the infant stages of this process. I'm in a learning and listening capacity when I come on to these bi-weekly Thursday conferences. But my goal is, me and Sabrina, we're looking to do work in Africa, probably focus on Gambia, Senegal, Ghana, and trying to learn as much as we can with respect to the farming and try to take it to the motherland and do some work with our brethren there. Will be mutually beneficial for the residents there as well as ourselves. And definitely wanting to network here with the people in this group. And I'm gonna need a lot of help because I'm in very kindergarten infancy stage with the terminology and everything that I'm hearing. But thank you, I digress.
Well, I appreciate you being on again, Samantha, and we're glad that you're here to join in. That's basically what this group is for, is to help and assist our farmers, not just within our local area, but across the nation and across the world, to team up, because we understand that the situation we're in is not one that any one person can be the champion and hero, but we all must come and unite together. So I'm glad to hear that you're interested in going back to the motherland to help that out. So with that being said, I got a brother here to introduce to you guys, who Samantha and Sabrina, you guys might want to listen up. I know I want to listen up because I plan on hooking up with this brother and going over there. I might go stay for 2-3 months and get out of Dodge for a second. So I'm going to introduce to everybody Peter Brown. Peter, tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you're doing. Glad to have you on Legacy Farming and Health Group.
All right. So peace and blessings. I'm going to wish, and first, just wish on each and every one of our houses health and wellness and vitality and longevity in each and every one of our lives. This is important for us all. So I'm Peter Brown. I live in Boston, and I am the CEO of the Ledge Group. The Ledge Group, you know, at the really root level, it was built based on the fact that Africans in the diaspora live in strong economies, and we have access to capital, and Africans on the continent have resource, but they have no capital. So the two of us are lacking what the other one has.
Right.
And so I further am a big fan of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. And he said, any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. And so it became very clear to me that our enemy, our war isn't against the flesh, it's against principalities.
Right.
It is against dependency. So it became very, very clear to me that what we had to do was build a system where we could produce for ourselves food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, and security forevermore. If such a system could be built, then it could withstand the collapse of any government or any economy in the world, and it would be able to flourish forward. So this was the idea. I'm the founder, and since then, we have 53,000 acres of land in Kenya that we actively farm. We have an active project in South Africa with chickens and goats, and we're going to add livestock on there. We've got active projects in Uganda, in Zambia, in Ghana, in Nigeria, and we meet with our brothers all over the continent, and we deploy a logic-based model that is designed to meet us where we are and solve the problems where we are at the end of the day. The old guard and the old logic and the old way that things have worked have driven the planet to hell. And what we have to do is we have to develop more intelligent ways. So this capitalism says that you're not valuable beyond a predictable threshold of earning over your lifetime that the system can benefit from. That's the only value you are in capitalism. But I suggest to you that the real value is what is in your mind. It's what's in your dreams, man. It's what's in your heart, and it's what's in your spirit. That is the real value of a human. And so what we have to do is we have to step out of the construct that we have been playing in, and we have to design one that nurtures that which is natural within us. So we've built a system where, and so it's really a basic logic. I can buy a donkey and I can give you a job looking out and maintaining my donkey. And you'll do that job because I'm giving you money, but you have no real loyalty or allegiance in there. But if I buy a donkey and I give it to you and I say, we will split the proceeds associated with the work that that donkey does, well, that donkey is yours. And now you've got a vested interest. And this is the difference. America has not offered a share to anyone. You had Italians, Lithuanians, Hungarians, all of these different groups come in, and they were given slightly more rotten crumbs than the person that came in behind them, but they were never offered a share. You go look at their projects. It's just projects. There's no factory there that they all work in and all have a share in and have pride in. No, none of those things exist. So we had to develop a system, right, where we don't go in like Jean-Claude Van Damme with the solutions to everybody's problem. Absolutely not. What we do is we partner with the people on the ground. We open a company on the ground, and we develop intelligent proof of concept projects that will allow us to not only vet and validate the scoping of our executive director and our teams there. So if they said they could do this within a given threshold of degrees, how far or how close did they come to that target? And so we give them that proof of concept. If they successfully complete that proof of concept, what happened is that proof of concept is generally a 120-day project. It's watermelons, tomatoes, onions, chickens. It's one of these different things. At the end of 120 days, if that proof of concept has worked appropriately, it will generally generate 4 times the invested amount. It will be able to grow. It will be able to pay the investors. It will pay the workers, the farmers, and the next harvest will be twice as large. So what it does is, and what we've done, is we've produced a model that creates self-perpetuating, self-sustaining models that will grow into the future. I'm the CEO and the founder. I could be hit by a bus today, and every single thing that we have done will absolutely continue in perpetuity. It will grow in perpetuity. In chickens, Every day, we've got chickens that are maturing, we've got chickens in the market, and we've got a staggered cycle. So now, our members, and I'm not going to go too deep into the way that the model works, it's a little complex, but we do 120-day projects. We do 18 months to 3 years projects, vanilla, ginger, right? We do 5 to 7 year projects, fruit trees, papaya, oranges, these things. And then we do 10 to 100 year projects, and that is the bamboo. And in each instance, what we're looking to do and what we're doing in every single country is we're spinning up hundreds of models where we're not making employees. Nobody works for the ledge. They work for themselves. We open up a company in their name. We install checks and balances. We deploy the projects, and we develop hundreds and hundreds of streams of passive income and improve the solvency and the capacity of those people. So in Kenya, we dug 2 wells. They were struck by drought, and the stability of the area was compromised. The animals were dying. And as a result of dead animals on the ground, the mosquitoes were flying, and then they were biting people. And so the solvency of the people is directly tied to their access to water. So the drought struck. And so we dug 2 wells down 230 meters at a cost of $20,000 per well. And we irrigated our 53,000 acres of land and provided water for those animals and those families and those people in that area, so that drought will never be a problem for them as long as there is history. We in Zambia built a maternity ward for the people there. And again, the goal is in each and every area, lift 2 people at one time. Tie our specific needs. See, we can disagree on ideological. We can disagree philosophically. We can disagree in the area of religion, where we cannot be separated. Not any of us is in the place where 3 million years ago, a human needed food, clothing, water, shelter, healthcare, and security. If you are alone in the desert, you will need food, clothing, water, shelter, healthcare, and security. If you're in the Himalayas, you'll need food, clothing. These are the things that make humans free or not. So what the Ledge Group does is we spin up projects that are self-perpetuating, that are self-propagating, self-sustaining, that can withstand the collapse of any government or economy on the planet Earth. It's no longer theory. We've done this now for years, and we are now opening in Haiti, and we are speaking in Argentina. We are looking in Colombia. We are looking everywhere there are native people that are ready to partner together. I feel it's irresponsible for us to be sitting in these strong economies and turning up our nose at our people. You please let me. I'm just going to briefly help you to understand something. In Angola, they have more diamonds than any of you could even imagine. They are 70% of the world's diamond reserve. Ghana, they've got more gold. In Zimbabwe, I can show you pictures of young men that live in places where it's surface gold. They're walking across the ground and they're kicking gold. It's not valuable to them. They can't do anything. And so how the world has worked, how these minerals that fuel the economies and underpin the economies of the colonizer, how this has worked is because they don't bring in their infrastructure. They don't dig them a well. They don't give them the facility to be able to take care of themselves. They go in with a glass of water and they say to a thirsty man, I'll give you this glass of water for that truckload of diamonds. And because those diamonds are worthless to him and he has no capacity on him of himself to be able to do anywhere in an international market, he takes the glass of water, the beers takes the diamonds, and they sell it back to you on the street. This is how they do it with gold. This is how they do it with copper, with cobalt, coltan, with absolutely every single resource that is underpinning every nation in this world. What the Ledge Group says is, instead of taking that glass of water, we will first come in and we will invest in the people. And so now, instead of taking the bad deal on your diamonds, Let's split the proceeds 50-50. And so now I link out with my brothers. I'll be in Ghana in 30 days. I was in Africa 3 months ago. I stay on the continent and I stay face to face to meet with the chiefs, to meet with the ministers of agriculture. And my words are very simple. Nobody on the planet Earth has ever offered the African 50-50. I don't care if we was out on the block bubbling anything. You can't get better than 50-50. And no one on the planet Earth has ever offered the African a fair share in their own resources. So guess what? When I can do so, and I can make good on the offer that I make, and I can split with them 50-50, guess what? I shut off the faucet of resources to De Beers, and they can't get another diamond. I shut off the copper to the Chinese, and they can't buy no more copper in Africa. I shut off the access of gold, the coltan, the cobalt. I shut off and control the resources that are coming from the continent of Africa, and unless my people are eating, then no one else does either. We grow more food and will grow more food within the next 5 years in order to dwarf any country on the planet Earth. We've got 4 grow seasons. We've got a ready workforce. There's nothing on this planet Earth that can stop us. We are 4 billion. If the African determined to all stomp their left foot at one time, we'd wobble the planet. We could wobble the planet. I suggest we are the most unorganized corporation in the world. And we've developed a framework in order to pull that corporation under one umbrella and take advantage of those things. So guess what? If they don't want to do business with our brothers in Haiti, then what we do is we package it up and we ship it to Argentina. We process in Argentina. We pay logistics from Haiti to Argentina. We pay our Argentinian brothers to process it, and we ship it into America. And no matter what we do, we're coming for ours. We re-engineer every triangle that they ever imagined, and we change the course of history right here and right now. The #1 motto of the Ledge Group is, I don't have the audacity to think small. We come to change it all. Everything. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get all excited, but look.
You got me excited. I'm trying to hold myself down right now.
Me too.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Love it.
So, but no, you have so passionately and eloquently stated and mirrored all the things that we've said over these past 2 or so years on what our desire is. We're not moving forward just to make money for ourselves, but this is something that we're looking at. You went to 100. I dared them to dream 300 years out and plan for that. So I'm flabbergasted right now. So right now, let me sit back and fan myself. I'm gonna let Jetty ask the question.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something about that bamboo. We planted. You can look up now on Google. If you type in Kenya plants bamboo, if you type that in, right now they're saying how brilliant a move it was for them to plant bamboo, because what happens is when the rains do come, as a result of deforestation, the trees are not there to drink the water, so the water sits on the land and it moves quickly and creates a dangerous condition. So I sent over 1 million Moso bamboo seeds, and I sat with the Minister of Agriculture and I said, give me 26,000 acres of land in order to grow this bamboo. He looked up and he said, you're kidding, right? And my executive director, he's speaking Kiswahili, and my executive director said, no, we're not kidding. He says, okay, then show me 100,000 bamboo shoots. And so we opened up a case, I wheeled the case in, and we showed him 1 million. And he said, go grow your rainforest then. And so he gave us 26,000 acres to grow that bamboo on. That was 3-4 years ago. Moso bamboo is the fastest growing plant on the planet Earth. If you go outside and plant that shoot and you're barbecuing, by the time your burger is done, you will see that it has grown some. It is the fastest growing plant on the planet Earth. It is nutrition. It is industry in that the wood is used for decking and this. And because we planted 1 million in staggered capacity, we're marking time in thousands of years. What we've done is ensured that those babies and the children there and their children for thousands of years will have nutrition and jobs. And that is what we have to do. You got to know, this Donald Trump and these Johnny-come-latelys are not smart enough to plan the next 5 minutes. The circumstances that we are living with were not put in place by people that you see today. It was done by that people that lived 300, 400 years ago. They knew that they would never live to see the result of the efforts that they put into place, and yet they still did it. They did what they had to do for 400 years into the future. So we have to use the best technologies, the best ideas. We have to use the vertical grows. We've got to. So I'm going into Ghana and I'm teaching. And again, I invite any of you. I teach solar, wind, and hydroponic alternative energy engineering classes. Power is everywhere and you can harness it. I teach people how to do that. I'm going to Ghana and I'm going to teach 60 youth in Ghana, and we're adding on sessions, and I will teach 100% of them how to build a solar, wind, and hydro power-based solution. I never charge one dime for my time or for what I know. I place it at the feet of my people, and I will come anywhere on the planet Earth and do so. So my feeling has always been that we've got what we need. It's simply a matter of bringing it out. It's simply a matter of trusting me, trusting you, trusting each other. You know why? You can look at a number on a piece of paper that's 500 digits long, and somebody will say, repeat that. And you say, I can't. Well, guess what? Yeah, you could, but you just didn't trust yourself. Your eyes saw it. You actually could have processed that. You actually could have repeated that 500 character number, but you said you couldn't, so now you can't. But you absolutely can. And it's time for us to trust ourselves and start giving the trust to this system that diminishes our humanity. So we build a permanent solution. I don't believe that we should count on these people for food, clothing, shelter, water, healthcare, and security. I believe that anything that we do, no matter who I vote for or what I do in this society, 500 years from now, my children will still be looking to their children for jobs. And that is not freedom to me. See, Martin Luther King was dreaming. I'm going to say that one more time. Martin Luther King was dreaming, and he said he was dreaming before he started speaking. I had a dream. He wasn't talking about something that had come true. When he spoke of freedom, we didn't get it. And so they changed the word freedom into civil rights and equality and justice. But all of these things are unquantifiable and ambiguous. Freedom, if I got freedom, I got all that other shit. See? So freedom was the goal, and we've been misdirected. And so there's only one thing that I'm going for, and that is freedom. And while at the same time, I am not walking away from what 20 generations of my family built. What we are going to do and what we are already doing, we've imported 10 tons of coffee from Uganda. We get wholesale pricing on everything that we possibly can on the African continent, and we build our logistical channels from the ground up, and we move it into the Americas, and we put it into the hands of the people in the diaspora, so I can bring gold in just like they can. I can move everything in the world that they can move, and I can move it into the continent. So what do I want? We're bringing in the coffee, and we're bringing in the sugar. They're addicted to it. That's what I want. I want to be the master of what they're addicted to. So I can easily bring in the coffee and easily bring in the sugar, and I can dominate their markets, dropping the prices down. So we're doing fantastic things. We're doing those things that will ensure our solvency, absent anyone else's consideration, what they like, what they want, what turns their necks red. It does not matter. We are doing what we must do for ourselves.
So, like I said, I'm still thoroughly impressed. You said everything that I've always wanted to say. All I want to do is say, let me know when you're going to Ghana, cause
Ashe.
Yeah, I'm there. Ashe, for real. So I'm opening up the floor to whoever wants. We'll start with Jetty. Jetty, you got anything?
Master Peter, what must I do to be saved? You know, we need, you like you said, we need trust, and that's something which we you know, we've inherited distrust. So I'm trusting you. I trust anybody one time. Next time it's on them.
That's right.
But I really would like to know more about your program in depth. So whenever you get the opportunity, please let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
All right. All right. Absolutely, brother. And you are welcome. And at the end of the day, so the system that we built, and so what's interesting today is that I have never actually fully put down the entire model of how the Ledge Group works until just recently. We are completely crowdsourced. When we built a maternity ward, we crowdsourced that. Every single thing we have done has been done with pennies, okay? And so I never put it down on paper, except for the contracts between us and the members, okay? And I recently put it down on paper, and I realized that the model that I built is the capitalism killer. And I'm fine-tuning it. I'm getting NDAs to people so that they can sign it so that I can share it and show them. But the fact is, mathematically, it cannot fail. What it is that we've built can't fail. So what I've done is we've eliminated trust. For our members, for them to invest in a proof of concept, I'll give you a basic idea. For our members to invest in a proof of concept, the proof of concept has got to be under $5. It's got to be from $5,000 to $8,000. Why $5,000 to $8,000? Because if things happen to go sideways at $5,000 to $8,000, I can reimburse everybody and it ain't gonna hurt me, right? So we're guaranteeing, the Ledge is guaranteeing the 120-day project. Now, when that POC pays off, here's how it pays. Our members, so high level, our executive director in Africa gets 51% of all proceeds. 49% goes to investors. The way that this works, the math is, our investors get paid 75% of their invested amount across 4 harvests. So you invest $100, you get $75 back in 120 days. 120 days later, you get another 75. 120 days later, you get another 75. The reason that this works is because at a $5,000 to $8,000 cap, you could never possibly exceed. He could never possibly fail to make enough to not only pay those investors, expand the project, but also have a handsome salary for himself, right? Each time you do the watermelons, the tomatoes, the onions, the chickens, you can count 4 times. 4 times your invested amount. So we did watermelons in Zambia. We did it on 1.5 acres of land, cost $5,000. In 120 days, it paid out $24,500. So what that allowed the farmer to do was expand the project. It allowed them to pay off all of the investors, and it allows us the project to go in perpetuity. That is the basic model of the Ledge Group. So at the end of the day, ain't nobody got to trust anybody. It's backed. And so at the end of that proof of concept, he rolls again. Now, again, we move to the 18-month to 3-year projects, the 5-year to 7-year projects, the 10-year to 100-year projects, keeping the same model. Everybody gets paid, and everybody gets paid 75% 4 times. So what my members have is investment here, there, there. So the top 1% always have 7 passive income streams. When we're finished, our members will have hundreds of passive income streams. And furthermore, it will be on the continent. Not $1 will hit the US market. Not $1. As the CEO of the Ledge Group is registered in Las Vegas. The Ledge Group LLC, we're registered in Las Vegas. LLCs don't cross country lines. So we've opened companies in these different countries. What does that mean? It means that I can do business with any country on the planet Earth. Doesn't matter if America likes them or not, because I'm executing international deals between that country and that country. It just happens to be that I'm at the head. You can tie nothing to me. So we can do what they never wanted us to be able to do. And that's what it is.
I like your laugh. I like your laugh. Dr. Ramona, you got anything? I think she's gone for the moment. Deb, you got a question?
I don't have a question, but I want to listen to all of this again later, so I can get the details I missed. But it sounds amazing.
Yeah, I will make sure that I make a copy of this and make sure that everybody will get a copy. I'm gonna send it to Jetty, as I always do, and I will also put it on our Facebook link. So if you don't get it, then jump on Jetty. So Quinn.
Man, I want to know when did you say you was going, John? You say you was going for stay with it for 3 or 4 months. I want to do some stuff where I ain't gonna see the benefits for period. So you know, for my legacy, I'm with it, man.
Yeah, bruh, y'all got to. You know what? If you haven't been to Africa, it costs $850 round trip from Boston to go to Kenya. And let me tell you something. And I'm gonna send this out to all of y'all. Y'all want to go to Africa?
Yeah.
Name the country that you want to go to. I don't care where you go in the world. I can have a legend pick you up at the airport. We got you. You could find yourself in any country, anywhere in the world, and you will find a ledge member there that will pick you up and show you around. And let me tell you something. Africa doesn't close. You just can't even imagine. You roll into a town, 4 o'clock in the morning, you're going to smell the air, and they got that beautiful nyama choma, that barbecue meat just kicking. Everywhere you go is open. They don't play. I got there, and my jaw dropped because, you know, I'm from Boston, right? And New York, I done stomped in. I done stomped all over, you know? And so, you know, we think we're pretty bad. No. You don't know what hustle is. I seen a man on what they call a boda. It's a motorcycle. And he had coffins stacked up and tied on the back of his motorcycle, pushing it. I seen a woman on the back of a boda. The man had wood stacked up over his head, and the woman was sitting on the center of it. I saw an entire couch strapped to the back of a motorcycle with a woman on the back. They were pushing it. They get it done. They get it done. And so when the brother was talking about vertical walls, you know what? That is right. So Sankofa is to go back and snatch to go forward. And so we have to use simple methods. We've got to go back. So I stayed in a mud hut, and I've always had respect for my brothers and sisters in Africa. So I never looked down on a mud hut. But let me tell you something. I stayed in a mud hut, and one of the first things you notice is it's a heck of a lot more spacious than you thought. There's 20 people in there. It's like a community center, right? Everyone's in there. There's whiskey. Look, they're chilling in the mud hut, right? And people come in and go out, and you know, people will go and grab a bowl of food and tell everyone else, yo, the food's ready. Everybody will go get their bowl of food, and everybody comes back in and sits. And it's warm in the cold, and it's cool in the sun. But you notice that they don't have any windows, and they don't have any refrigerators, and they don't have any doors, right? Well, and the reason being, because they don't need a refrigerator, because when they wake up in the morning, the food is at their feet, and it's in the tree, and the chicken is fresh, and the goat is there. They don't have to preserve food until tomorrow. Tomorrow, the food will be there. That's called freedom. The other thing is, they don't have any doors, because if any member that lives anywhere around there should come home with something, everybody got something. Nobody keeps it for themselves. Nobody goes into this community and says, well, this is mine, and hoards it for themselves. We use the adage, it takes a village to raise a child, but until you've actually seen it, it doesn't really resonate. That's called Ubuntu. I am because we are. And if we bring this into our business practices and recognize that every man, woman, and child must eat, each and every one of us deserve a share. Who doesn't deserve pride? Who doesn't deserve these things? And until we develop the models that make that normal again, then we're gonna flounder. We're gonna hate each other. We're gonna have jealousy and envy and crime and all these different things. But guess what? If you got a share in that endeavor and I got a share in that endeavor, and at the end, we all gonna sit down and eat, then guess what? We ain't none of us gonna break down that endeavor. It's gonna live. It's gonna thrive because everyone has a share. I spoke with a team recently, and they were talking about going into a place and putting a factory there. And they came to me and they said, well, so this is what we're gonna do. And I said, well, if you put that factory there in that place in a third world country, if you put that factory there and turn your back, when you turn back around, they will have stolen every lights fixture, every brick, every single thing. Why? Because you're an outsider. You just came in there. They ain't got no share to that. All they see is another exploiter coming in and about to take their stuff. This is what creates xenophobia. So even if those Nigerians aren't taking their stuff, the perception exists that they are. So that is not how you do things. So I told this group, you don't put a factory over there and build it over there. No, you cultivate somebody that you trust there and you put a factory in their name and you let them hire their people and you let that be their factory. And if you do that, they will never take that factory down because it feeds their families. And this is how we do business across the planet Earth. This is the Ledge Group. I'm long-winded, man. Y'all got to stop giving me the mic. You don't understand?
Hey, I'm enjoying. I'm enjoying somebody else saying that for a chance. So I'm gonna let Jerry ask something. Go ahead, Jerry.
I just want the brother to keep going and keep speaking on that, because that specific model that he is even talking about, the Ubuntu model, is the exact model that will eliminate capitalism, I believe, here. And I think that is much easier to work over in Africa. Even though I have not been to the continent, a lot of the Africans here that I speak to, they just speak of how much easier it is for them to work with one another there than it is with working with so-called African Americans here, and or actually some of the other Africans that have actually been here, 15 years or longer. So that model there will definitely work. If King Brown would go into some of the agricultural pieces that he has as far as the land share goes, I'm all ears. I'm listening. Like I said, I can't wait for it to open up again. And Brother Brown, I was the one who invited you, and I still invite you and still would like you to speak at the Freedom to Grow conference. These types of messages have to resonate more within our communities, especially with our farmers. And I think that there's definitely a connection or a bridge that is there that's not being realized, that is there between African American farmers, specifically in the South, and the African continent.
That's right.
And there is a bridge that should be built and can be built, and it's a backbone for our systems moving forward in the future. And I'm gonna let Mr. King Brown take over.
Man, you just said it. I mean, look at the Gullah Geechee down there in South Carolina. Tell me that ain't coming straight. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at our farmers here in America, right? What you're going to find is, so please, we got to understand from a historical standpoint, why did we even come here? So they didn't take just random people when they went into West Africa. They took the farmers, they took the builders, they took the industrious, they took those that had specific skills, and they brought them here because they could work the fields where no one else could. And so now, think back at the Emancipation Proclamation, they made humans that should have never been enslaved free. And so when they left and found hostile environments everywhere that they bumped into. But let me tell you the skill that they had. These people could stop in a place, grow a crop, harvest the food, sell some to the locals, and have enough to have a banquet and keep it pushing. And they would do those fields for one harvest. The local people would say, stay, would you please? We'll pay you. Could you stay and tend to those fields and keep that food going? Nah, we got to press on. We got our own thing to do. And so our people could stop on a dime and produce food. Do you know that there was a time in American history where a wage earner was a swear? To be called a wage earner meant that you didn't own your own land and you had to work for somebody that did own their land. A wage earner was a bad thing. There was a time where you being a man was what you were supposed to be. You built a house. You could produce your water and dig your well. You produced everything that you needed. And guess what? When your wife looked at you and she was proud of you, she wasn't proud of you because you made more money than that guy. She wasn't proud because you got a bigger car or a bigger house than, no. She was proud. She knows her man will do anything necessary to keep his family alive. There's got to be no begging. So we got to install that real pride again. That only.
And I want to jump in there real quick for a real live picture of that. All you have to do is look at Little House on the Prairie.
You're going to make me fall out of my chair, man.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It sounds corny, but it's so true. Look at how that woman look at her man. Because she knows every night, every day, he gonna do what he gotta do. And guess what? He looks at her with great pride as well. Because every day, every night, she gonna do what she gotta do to keep that family solvent. That don't mean begging to somebody else and bowing your head to somebody and having to dance on cue. That's not what it's about. And we've become accustomed to this. And I'm telling you, the reason that the words that I'm saying resonate is because it's not my truth. It is the truth. It's in each of us. I didn't make this up. This is in all of us. Each of us want this. This is not an organic life that we have lived, and it is time to push it back to that place. In parity, in love. Yo, Martin said it. You can't fight hate with hate. You fight it with love. I love my people. And so we will go to Colombia. We will go to Argentina. We are in Haiti. We are all over the world where there are poor people, because those are the real value of the world. You know, America is automating jobs. The jobs are going away. They got the self-checkouts. They petitioned and wanted the minimum wage to go up to $15 an hour. Now the minimum wage is $15 an hour, and the human equation is being eliminated. The human is being eliminated from the equation. Guess what? I got land in places in Africa where I have it available at $40 an acre. $40 an acre. You can't get land any cheaper than that anywhere on the planet Earth. And there's no building restriction. And you can own land. Own it forever and never have to pay on it.
Where's this at?
Aha, that's our land in Kenya, 53,000 acres. And I'd love to bring you there. Again,
that's what I'm saying. I'm ready to go.
Round trip ticket there is $8.50, bro.
And I got $40 for an acre.
And you hear what I say? Look.
Matter of fact, I'm bringing more than that, but I just want to get one. Make sure I get a start.
This is what I'm saying. And I can't wait. I'm going to share some pictures with y'all. Y'all see what Laikipia, that's where we're at, is Laikipia in Kenya, what it looks like. To stand on 53,000 acres of land, you know, so we got different challenges. My brother, you know, we're speaking about agriculture. In America, the pests that you have might be a gopher or, you know, any of these woodchucks or any of that. The pests that we have in Laikipia, yeah, they're tusker elephants. Yeah, they're 2-ton, 3-ton elephants. thousands of them that roam freely along in that area. So we have different pests, but it's really, really wonderful, man. You have got to see what it's like, man.
I'd love to see it. I got Gabriel that's got a question for you. So Gabriel, jump on in there.
Yeah, Brother Brown, I appreciate you coming on and sharing what you have going on in the African continent, and I'm really inspired by what you're doing. And just to be real, just coming from someone from the United States who probably gets all his information from the media, from sources not from the motherland, I have a lot of skepticism about working within Africa, and it's not because I don't believe it can be done. It's just probably because of my biased views based on what I get shown through the media. I have been to Haiti. I tried to help some folks over there, so I do know what it is to live in squalor. I do understand how desperate those people live right now, and I would love, my heart goes out to them. I want to find a way to do business there or somewhere else where the people can benefit. But what worries me, what scares me, and hopefully, and I guess I'm being 100% here just so that maybe you can dispel some of those fears that I do have with doing business in either Africa or Haiti. And that is, how do I protect my investment? How do I know that I'm not going to, be scammed somehow, and everything that I work for and I put my family through isn't just going to go down the drain?
Yeah. You know what? So on the one hand, your skepticism is founded, right?
Isn't these same risks right here in America that he's talking? It's the same risks in America.
They are, but it's a little different when you're talking about a different country. Because if you reach out to their police and say, hey, a black guy stole my money, guess what? You just got stole. You don't have any recourse, right? And so the question that he asks is a very good one, because you're right. The reason that you see very little investment from Africans in America to Africans on the continent, and it's not because they don't want to, it's because they cannot successfully ensure that their money is going to do what it's going to, and that they're going to be able to get it back when they want to. This is why the model that I've developed at this point has become so very interesting to the entire world. The Ethiopian consulate invites me, the ministers of finance invite me, the vice president of Uganda invites me. It's become so very interesting because the way that the model is developed, there are those checks and balances in place. There is a standard that produces confidence and the ability to do a thing. And so I can say that until I'm blue in the face, but I can also show you receipts that show that I've sent $100,000 to our executive director in Kenya, and not one single dime went for anything other than what it was supposed to. I can show you that we've sent $50,000 or more to our executive director in Zambia, and I can show you 100% of what that has done. And so what you're saying is true. There has never really been a case where you could reliably invest in Africa and be assured with checks and balances and legal recourse that your investment would be protected. What we did was we built that.
Can I make a statement, please?
Yes, indeed.
This is Sabrina. I lived in the Gambia for a year. And when I was there, it was always the same story. They took my money. They took my stuff. They took somebody. And it's always family members. It could be other people, but a lot of times it was family because, family work together. So one day I told someone, you know why they keep doing that? Because when they do work for you, you give them 5 cents to work for you all day, and you having all this big money and all these things that can help them get something delivered to other people, and all you did was give them a drink of water. That's not fair.
No.
I said, but if you treat them with dignity and pay them the way you should, then they'll stop doing that. But you guys don't want to.
who you are, you're not.
Right.
So while I was there, I realized if you give people a share, they respect you. They respect it because they are sharing with you.
That's
so
right.
everything that you're saying is completely right. Even when I came back home, I said, you can use that same thing.
That's right.
If you share what you have, whether it's 30% or 50%, or maybe every quarter, not only they get paid an hour, or even if you have something like every 4 months, they get a bonus. So you have to share what you have. You can't put everything in your pocket because the thing is, it belongs to all of us. It just doesn't belong to one person. Everybody is greedy. That's why we have all these issues, the capitalism.
That's right.
But that, I would say I agree with more than 100% because I saw it firsthand. Nobody wants to treat people with dignity, respect, and share. They're greedy.
That's right.
Everybody's greedy. You just have to.
Sis, I mean, these are the lessons that we had. Look, when I grew up, so I know I look young, but I was raised in the 60s. And guess what? There were good times, and then there were lean times. And when the times were lean, then we cut that piece of bread in 4, and everybody had a fourth. This is how you do it. So even on the land, if we do good, then we should all be doing good. And if we didn't do so good, then we should all feel that. But we should share it equally. And if you do that, so I can speak to this very simply and without any ambiguity. You could not go to any of our projects in Kenya, South Africa, Zambia, Uganda, or anywhere in the world and either run up and offer our executive directors anything or jeopardize their projects, and each and every one of those men wouldn't give their life to protect it because they have a share. And that's the difference. That's how you do it. So I can go into Haiti. I can go anywhere on this planet Earth, and I can cultivate mutually beneficial business relationships and models without any concern, building in legal recourse, checks and balances, and it's been demonstrated. It is an easy thing to do. You know why it sounds like wizardry? Because it's a man saying, be fair. That's why it sounds like wizardry to the world. Because I'm saying, be fair. Stop being so fucking greedy. Be fair.
Yep.
That's all. And if you do that, look, you find doors will open. I built a ledge group. I built the ledge group because I asked my mother, my father died in 72 and left her with 6 kids. She had no education, no job skills, no nothing but 6 children in racist Boston. And so she subsequently graduated from Harvard, summa cum laude, and achieved major milestones. And later in life, I asked her, I said, okay, Mom, if ever, after, Daddy died, and you had us, all 6 of us, and somebody offered you the ability to go to Africa, and you didn't know how you were going to make it when you got to Africa, but they offered you the ability for you and your children to go. Would you go? My mother didn't blink an eye, and she said, yes. Now, it is important to be aware, my mother was a Black Panther, and my father was a Mau Mau. So they were always, I was born in the revolution, right? So she was always kind of predisposed that way, but she didn't blink an eye. She said yes. And so what I needed to do was, so my mom has transitioned, but what I needed to do was build a system that could accommodate that. She said that she wanted to go. And I know that as a single mother with 6 children, it was impossible. There was no vehicle that could allow that to happen, for her to safely repatriate to Africa, have a place where she could be caught, safe, and actually flourish. There was no machine in the world that could allow that to happen. And so I had to build it. And that's what I did.
And like I said before, I'm with you. We parallel in so many ways. With the exception of a little bit of gray in my beard, you might be able to tell I'm a 60s kid myself. So my father was also in the Panthers and things. So that's where my passion comes from. So, you know, when it's about the community, it comes from the roots, from you know, how I was raised up, you know, with the Operation Breadbasket and all the other things that we used to do from back in the day to help the communities out. So as far as me, this is just life. This is just how I've always lived and always been. You know, our group isn't that super large because that's the way we teach and preach. We don't teach so much that it's all about the money, but it's about the people. And but I will say this: the group that we do have, which is much larger than what you see, you know, they are down for the cause. Especially these that have shown up today. They have been very faithful in what they do and in what they say. So you know, once again, I want to be respectful to everybody's time. You know, we normally run this for about an hour or so. So I'm giving everybody an opportunity to ask any questions that you might have. Peter Brown definitely will be trying to hit you up and do some contact. Love to have you come back again, share again. I'm sure that once people see this, you know, we'll have quite a few more. I got other folks from other groups that need what you got, because that's what the model that you're talking about. If you already got it in place, our motto here is there's no sense in trying to reinvent the wheel. You know?
And I give it to free. As I said, I fly all over the world. I've run solar engineering classes all over the world. Everybody knows I'll go for free. Everything that I have, everything that I am, I place at the feet of my people that they might pick it up and push forward. So everything that I have, the model that I developed, yeah, I've been giving it away for free. I need us to get to the place. You know, it's amazing the progress that we can make when no one cares who gets the credit.
Right. So that's the great thing about it. Like I said, that's been my motto here. It's not about me, it's about us. And I was sharing with a brother of mine the other day, a guy I went to high school, and I was sharing with him what was considered the world's shortest poem, written by Muhammad Ali. And I believe it goes, you, me, we, is how the poem is.
No, sir, I apologize. I remember it was we, me, we. That's it. It was two.
Okay, me, we. All right.
Yeah.
I remember it was only 2 or 3 words. And so, but that's the concept of it all. You know, we have to get to that point to where we recognize, you know, that it is about us. You know, it's not a me thing.
That's right.
In America, you know, it's all about, you know, whose name you got on your hat, whose name you got on your shirt, whose name you got on your shoes, whose name you got on the back of your jersey. It's all about that, but it is hardly ever considered about us as the people. Even the people of America, regardless of what color or creed you are, if you understood that it was about us as a people.
Thank you.
Ain't got nothing to do with left, right, Republican, Democrat, conservative, whatever else, liberal, or anything else. If you understood it was about the people, then we wouldn't have this Mickey Mouse stuff going on at the Capitol now. But the thing is that they understand that all we got to do is pit people against each other. And once we're able to do that, they're so busy fighting one another that we can go in and rob the chicken coop, and they never even know that the chickens are gone.
That's what it is. And they got us thinking that there is scarcity. So as long as we believe there's scarcity, we feel like I better get mine or I'm going to have to do it out. But guess what? Look at 53,000 acres of land. You realize there ain't no such thing as scarcity. Do you know how many tomatoes I can produce on that land? Like, there's no such thing as scarcity. It's a lie. So, and then the other thing, and you've said it, and without using the same words, but if I can look into your eyes and not see myself, it means that something inside of me is dead. I'm supposed to be able to see myself in everything and love the me that I see in you.
Everybody's asking again for your information to be able to get it. I did copy what you put down earlier, pbrown@theledgegroup.com. I didn't know if there was anything else you wanted to share with them on how to contact with you.
That's really the best. There's a group that we have on Ledge Group, and it's the screen door before coming into the Ledge Group, and that's called the Grand Rising. And in the Grand Rising, there's benefit to being there, right? So as I said, we pull coffee from all over the continent. We pull everything that we can, artwork, chessboards, everything. I negotiate directly with artisans, vendors, shea butter makers, everybody. And so think of us as Black AARP. My feeling is we're negotiating in group. I want our insurance rate to be based on us because we're a block. We're not going for what you built for everybody else. We're a group. So when we travel, I want discounts based on us being a group. We should do everything as a group, right? And so with that in mind, with the Ledge Group, and when you get into the Grand Risings, you'll have access to our coffee and many other different things at a price that is not retail, right? And then when a person turns into a Ledge Group member, then they have direct pricing with the artisan. So our Ledge Group members are interacting directly with the executive directors, directly with the artisan. So they get the negotiated wholesale prices on everything. And we bring that into America. Man, look, they eat, our logistics eat, and we do this all ourselves.
I love it.
Okay. I'm loving it. You know, that takes a lot of headache off of me because everybody's been telling me, John, you can figure this out. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to put it together. But my thing is like I said, there's no sense in reinventing what's already out there. So we all trying to come together anyway. So, you know.
And I got to swing it back.
Is your solar classes in Africa or in the U.S. also?
What did you say?
You say you do solar classes. Are they just in Africa or are they in U.S. also?
This is the first time I'm flying to Africa to do a solar class. I was in Africa 3 months ago to just view coffee farms and plantations and meet with agricultural directors. Generally, I am in America doing them. So I did some in Queens.
Okay.
And I've flown around and done them pretty much everywhere. The only thing that I ask is for travel and accommodation, right? Outside of that, I'm not taking a dime.
Okay, so in other words, if somebody wants you to come in, we could just contact you and then take care of all of that, and you'll come in and do the class.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
And to offset the cost, again, I'm not going to take a dime, but I have absolutely no problem with your having 20 people come in and have them pay X amount to be able to offset that cost. So again, the goal is this: many hands makes light work. I'm going to give you everything I got for free. But if we can diminish the cost so that this one doesn't go broke or that one, but we spread it across, look, we can get everything done. We got everything that we need and we can do it.
Right.
All right. Anybody else got anything? I see everybody's got the Grand Rising down. Everybody got Peter's contact information. Peter, I think I sent you something earlier with my phone number on there. Anytime you feel the urge, please give me a call. I will be contacting you to move forward. I'd like to hear more about what you got going on and everything. Definitely looking at going to Kenya. I'm gonna go up there and hog tie Quinn and make him come with me now. He didn't open his mouth.
You ain't gonna forget me.
Oh man,
let's do it. Let's do it.
Africa. I'm telling you, y'all gonna love like nothing that you ever nothing that you ever heard is going to really prepare you for it. There's nothing like you can anywhere else that you ever been on the planet Earth. It's acting like Africa. It's all there, man. I mean, oh, wow. It's wait till you see it. You're going to love it, man. Changes your whole mind.
All right. All right. Well, with that being said, mind's clear, all hearts clear. We're just going to go ahead and sign off. I want to thank everybody for showing. Thank our guest, Peter Brown, for being here. Sabrina, Gabriel, Samantha, Deb, Jetty, Ramona, Dr. Ramona, Quinn. Thank you all for showing up again. Without you guys, this platform wouldn't have the meaning that it does. So I appreciate all you guys being here. Once again, thank you, Peter Brown, for being here and sharing what you have. Look forward to working with you. Because like I said, this is what our group is here to do, is to work with one another. So look forward to working with you and see how we can take over like you were talking about. So I'm with you, brother.
All right.
Let's get it done. So with that being said, bid you all shalom. Thank you guys for showing up.
Thank you all. Good night.
Peace and love.
Thank you. Peace and blessings.
Shalom.
Ashe. Have a good night, everyone.
All right.
All right, everybody.
All power to the people.
All right.